Hi, boys and girls. Today we're reading an I Can Read book, Level 2, called Detective Dinosaur. And it's by James Schofield and pictures by R.W. Alley. Detective Dinosaur. Here are the contents. This is the contents page. There's actually 3 stories in this book. The Case of the Missing Hat, The Case of the Squeaking Shoe, and Night Patrol. And these are the dinosaurs in this story: Tyrannosaurus, Diplodocus, Pterodactyl, and Stegosaurus. And here, is Detective Dinosaur in his office at the police station. And this is the case of the missing hat. Here we go. "Drat!" said Detective Dinosaur. "Where is my hat? It is missing." Detective Dinosaur looked in his desk. No hat. He looked on his bookshelf. He looked in his wastebasket. He saw a banana peel, but no hat. Ring! The phone rang. It was Chief Tyrannosaurus. "Chief," said Detective Dinosaur, "something awful has happened. My hat is missing." "That is awful," said Chief Tyrannosaurus. "Ask Deputy Diplodocus at the Office of Missing Hats. Maybe he has seen your hat." "Okay, Chief," said Detective Dinosaur. And he went off to the Office of Missing Hats. He saw big hats and small hats, silk hats and straw hats. "Where is my hat?" he asked Deputy Diplodocus. "It is still missing." "I am sorry," said Deputy Diplodocus. Detective Dinosaur walked away and ran into Officer Pterodactyl. "You look sad, sir," she said. "I have just come from the Office of Missing Hats," said Detective Dinosaur. "I saw many hats, but I did not see my hat. Drat! It is still missing." "But, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl, "what is on your head?" We haven't been able to see his head all through this. Detective Dinosaur reached up. He felt something on his head. "It is my hat!" cried Detective Dinosaur. "It is no longer missing. Officer, how can I ever thank you?" "No need, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "Glad to help out." Case closed. And here's the second detective story: The Case of the Squeaking Shoe. And here he is, walking down the street. Detective Dinosaur and Officer Pterodactyl were on patrol one morning. Squeak! Each time Detective Dinosaur took a step, he heard squeak. "Officer Pterodactyl," said Detective Dinosaur, "each time I take a step, my shoe squeaks." "Perhaps it is too tight, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "No," said Detective Dinosaur, "it fits me fine." "Perhaps your shoe is old, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "No, no," said Detective Dinosaur, "it is brand new." "Well, perhaps your shoe needs polish, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "No, no, no," said Detective Dinosaur. "I polished it this morning." "Then I do not know, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "I think my shoe squeaks," said Detective Dinosaur, "because it is angry." "Shoes do not get angry, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. Well, mine does, said Detective Dinosaur. When I was a little dinosaur and I got angry, my mother would sing to me, "Now I will sing to my shoe." Detective Dinosaur sang, "Oh, shoe, my shoe, do not feel bad. I am not mean, I am not mad. What makes you squeak with all your might? Are your shoelaces tied too tight?" "Oh, go away," said a small voice. "Did you speak, Shoe?" asked Detective Dinosaur. "No," said the voice, "I did." A mouse climbed out of the shoe. "I was trying to take a nap," said the mouse, "but each time you took a step, your big foot squeezed me. Now let me down and stop singing." Detective Dinosaur let the mouse jump out and run away. Then he put on his shoe and took a step. There was no squeak. "Hooray!" said Detective Dinosaur. "My shoe is no longer angry." Officer Pterodactyl shook her head and flew away. Detective Dinosaur walked on without a sound. Case closed. And the last detective story is called Night Patrol. Here they are. It's at night. Here's the moon. Detective Dinosaur and Officer Pterodactyl were on night patrol. It was quiet and dark. "Psst, Officer Pterodactyl," said Detective Dinosaur. "I think someone is following us." "Do not worry, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "It is only our shadows." Suddenly, they heard a noise. Clang! It came from down a dark alley. Detective Dinosaur and Officer Pterodactyl tiptoed down the alley. See, tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. They peeked around the corner, and they saw a huge, dark shadow. The shadow was slamming something big and round on the ground. Clang! Detective Dinosaur and Officer Pterodactyl were afraid. "What is it?" asked Detective Dinosaur. "I do not know, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl, "but it is big." "Perhaps it's a robber," said Detective Dinosaur. "But robbers are quiet, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "Perhaps it is a monster," said Detective Dinosaur. "Perhaps we should call the police." "We are the police, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "Oh, you are right, officer," said Detective Dinosaur. "It is up to us." "This is the police," he yelled bravely. "Come out with your hands up." "Thank goodness," said a little voice. "Come, help me quickly." Detective Dinosaur and Officer Pterodactyl went around the corner. They found a little stegosaurus. "My mama told me to take out the garbage," she said, "but my tail got caught on this lid and I cannot get free." The little stegosaurus swung her tail and slammed the lid on the ground. Clang! "Hold still, little one," said Officer Pterodactyl, and she freed the tail. "Thank you so much," said the little stegosaurus. "Now you better run inside," said Detective Dinosaur. "You don't want your mama to worry." Detective Dinosaur and Officer Pterodactyl walked back down the alley. "I am so glad it was not a monster," said Detective Dinosaur. "Do not worry, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. "I will always protect you." "Yes," said Detective Dinosaur, "you are brave, officer." "So are you, sir," said Officer Pterodactyl. Here they are walking together. Together, the two brave friends and their shadows walked on into the night. Case closed. Good stories. Until we read together again. Next time. Bye-bye.